What's up, everybody? Zoltan wanted me to do a video on sigils and some different kind of more advanced concepts of sigils, although I think they should be basic things that everyone should know, having to do with the colors and design of them. And I'm going to get into it. This will be like a 200 level course, I guess, here. I'll give you some of the basics and we'll get into a little deeper stuff. And as always, I'll throw in some really high level stuff and see what comes out here. But let's start with I've always liked the Mayan calendar because it is a sigil, it is a clock, it's a bunch of things. And Sultan wanted to know about the colors, and let me explain to you. Take a look at this sigil and look at the colors they use in it. Now I don't know if this is what they used or if this is just stylized, but I certainly would believe that they did use the colors. Now the colors, we'll start here with the basic concept. What the colors are dealing with your chakras. They're dealing with energy centers within your body, and it will highlight those types of energies. Now, just knowing that, let's get into this calendar here. Let's get into this idea here. So even this right here is a sigil. Yeah, it's out there in the sky and it's part of your body, and it's pretty much as definite as we can get in making a calendar. Astrology has existed forever, as far as we can tell. So in reality, where we're sitting, this thing controls so much about us. And what do we notice about most people that make these sigils, these calendars, these astrological charts? Well, we notice the shape, and we notice that they're almost always done in black and white. Almost all people that work with sigils, and this is very important, I think this is a good place to really start this idea, is people use black and white. No wonder that people believe in duality. No wonder we have such a black and white, left and right kind of thing. We write on white paper with black pen, charcoal, pencil. It's always black and white. So this right here, as you're looking at it, it burns the black image and the whiteness into your consciousness. It gives you duality right away. It gives you those two polarities, those ideas of the white and the black being the poles. So what we need to look at when we're designing these, and the shape again, circular always gives a very comfortable boundary to something. It's always more comfortable to look at something circular. A square, it's all about squaring the circle and circling the square. A square puts angles around something, the angels, those corners. It encapsulates something. Where if the other way around, you'd have a circle encompassing a square. So it's all about protection. Here's the idea when you're making a sigil. Let me just go right to this idea here. Let me erase these, get these off the page, and I'll show you an idea, and then we'll get back to a little deeper idea here. Let's get rid of this. So when you're making a sigil, we'll start with the basic construct. Now, what you're doing, here's the middle of your sigil. That's your point of focus. That's your egg. That's your pineal gland. That's whatever it is. That's where you're looking. So you're actually, your vision goes directly into the center of here, like a bullseye. We can get into why that's a monad. That's the center of everything that you're doing. That's the center of your focus. Now, if you were to put a box around this, it changes the comfort of it. It changes what it's doing. That box has 4 angles, or 4 angels right here, that are protecting that. Now, once again, we could do this. And now we see that your vision, because this is your vision, your point of focus, is protected by first an egg or a shell that is limitless. And then it has 4 angels that protect it, 4 angles, 4 corners. Corners meaning coroners or death. It gives a definitive answer to something. And then we come back around it with a circle. So that it changes what we're building is layers. Layers of information to protect whatever's in here, or to express something. This is why we can look at something like this, And we can see that the center of this is being protected by all of this. And it's also spitting out time, space, and energies, all based upon the colors. So getting a little deeper into this, let's look at this again. What we've done here is if we were to build something like this, and we were to come off of here with this, what we've done is we've created protection. Look at that. It's just like a Chinese star in a sense. You've protected your... It's just like a castle. Think of a castle from a top-down perspective. If you were to architect something, a landscape, a two-dimensional, put it on a two-dimensional piece of paper. And then from here, I wanted to do something like this. Let me go like this, maybe. There we go. Well, there we go. Sorry for the mess. So now what we've done is we've given it another set of angles. I know it's a mess here, but you guys are getting the idea. So we're building barriers of protection for our focus, for what our ideas are. There's our idea in the center. Okay, think of this even as your skull, your head, your imagination, and inside of here, this circle right here, that's what you want. Let's say that's a car, whatever it might be. It doesn't matter what you want, but there it is. It's inside of there. And maybe it's something. Maybe this is a child. We could do it this way instead, rather than something as an outward focus of obtaining something that we want to protect. We can do two things here. We can have this being a protection agency around here. So you make different. You can make all sorts of things. Here, it's a boundary. It's more comfortable and soft. Now it's just an idea of using the male and the female dynamic. And once again, I'm just like I said, this is going to be 101, 201, and a little bit of next level stuff. And this is kind of the next level stuff. Most of what's been used, as I was saying, was black and white and masculine, meaning there's always angles. There's not a lot of these. If you look into sigils, there's not a lot of this going on. There's not a lot of clouds. There's not a lot of buffer zones. You can find some, and it's using different male and female energies, and most of these energies that are used on sigils are all male, and they're all black and white. So I hope that makes sense. Let's get rid of this. Let's go back and look at this again. So if you look in here, you're not seeing too much female energy. It's a lot of male energy. Maybe in this, you're seeing a little more female energy than what is being expressed in most sigils these days. Because you're finding a lot more circles. So I do kind of take that back a little bit. You're seeing a lot more circles and curvature in here. And so even on the outside being an egg, what's occurring with that egg is it's protecting the time inside of that. So now if we go farther and to think about what type of page did we write it on, because Sultan was asking about the page, that would be the background, and it'd be just something to help you image it. So if you wanted to express something from your lower chakras, maybe you'd like to use red paper. If you want to express something that was of a higher idea, maybe you'd want to use purple paper. So you just use these colors to express out of the energy centers in your body. So here's an idea. This is a simple little thing that I made, and it expresses the 7 colors plus the black and white, so the 9 colors. And it's just in focus to maybe, for you, it would help to balance out and even out all of your chakras. It gives a pretty decent balance of things. And now this was just a simple thing that I just put together, but we can make a lot more protection around it. We could, here we go. There we go. We could put a lot more protection around this. You know, protect your chakras. You could do this. There we go. We've got a lot of buffer zones. You could put colors into here. So the more colors is the more activation through your eyes to all of your different energy centers, the different frequencies that you'd be looking at. And so this gets into, as I was explaining right at the beginning, the use of colors in sigils. A lot of people have been using black and white, and they make it very simple. So this is why, and this is the really advanced stuff, if we have a perception of a black and white dual poled world, people oftentimes say they didn't get what they wanted from their sigil. They didn't get what they wanted to. They didn't get what they wanted to manifest. In fact, the opposite happened. Well, the opposite would happen because what you're doing when you're staring at this, you're actually imaging the opposite in your brain. So if you were to stare at the color yellow, for instance, for a very long time, for say a minute or two, and then you would look at a white wall, you would cast onto that wall the opposite color of yellow, so you'd cast red on the wall. So if you're just staring at black and white, and you just keep staring at that black, there's an opportunity that if you're putting the energy into that, you could get the exact opposite. So if you got the exact opposite of what you needed, it's due to the way that you've actually constructed the sigil. Now, if you use multiple colors, you're participating. It's like this. Let's try using this example. If you're in a band and you're doing a solo, if you screw up that solo, it's very obvious. But if you're in an orchestra, meaning you have all of these colors, so in the idea of a one-man band, you have the black and the white. It's either you hit that note on that guitar or you missed it, or you're singing and you either hit it or you didn't. And it's right there. It's obvious. But now if you make a sigil that includes, say, 12 different colors and different shapes, now you're using stars in here, and you're using pentagrams, and you're using circles, and you're using some triangles. Now you're understanding that you're getting different angles, different angels, and different color harmonics. So what is the frequency? And let's go a little deeper. As I always do, I just like to give the whole lesson here. But in the future, like I've told everyone, all of this is going to turn into 101s, 20, you know, we're going to get into like elementals school, and we'll go through the elementals, and we'll get into some, we'll break this down to a lot more cohesive learning for everyone, so you can just go through coursework for this. So here we go, because I always do it this way. So here, let me do this. If we take this up here, and we see that, as I was explaining about these colors, we're actually working in these harmonics this way. We're working within these scales. So it'd be like playing these on a keyboard. So if you're playing with all of these colors, you can hide, and you don't notice when you miss a key a little bit. If you missed that blue and it became a little off color, you wouldn't notice, because you'd be playing in, you know, with your whole hand. Now you have 10 fingers, 10 keys being played, and if you touch this one over here, it's not going to be as obvious. And in fact, you might not even notice it, because you'll be participating in a full manifestation, a full harmony, rather than just a black and white one. So you'd be using, and what this gets into is each one of these keys links up with a smell, links up with the sound, links up with your chakra system, links up with even designing and making yourself a sigil to have the correct proportions come out and what you want to see in your reality to come back to you. So if you want something very physical to come to you, then obviously you'd be looking to do a very red-orange type sigil. And then you'd to get a little further, you'd want to balance it out with some higher understanding. So you'd want to probably find those purples and blues, so you'd have an understanding rather than just being completely physical. But nonetheless, you can make the sigil any way you want it. This is get into the idea very simply here. Why does McDonald's use red and yellow? Everyone knows this. Why do all of the businesses that create mandalas, that create sigils and symbols that you look at and all of a sudden you become hungry? Why? Because yellow and red are the colors of hunger. Like that's your lower chakra. You're in there. These colors right here, you're hungry and you want to eat. So now if you want to create something that inspire that kind of information out into reality, to get a response mechanism for reality, you would use those colors. So is there anything I haven't covered here? I think that should elucidate most of the information that I wanted to. Yeah, I got a couple more things going on here that I want to set up for you guys. Like 4 more in the cooking right now that I was going to do, but whenever you have questions, I try to answer them. And this will go on for a little bit longer, but I have a pretty good feeling that this channel is going to get quite big soon. So try to get your questions to me now so I can, as I always do, take 3 or 4 questions and jam them into one video and give you all answers. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully Sultan that answers everything that you needed. Cheers, y'all.